Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, and we have a Vanderpump Rules story, the show that just doesn't end. More Vanderpump content to get to. Tom Schwartz slams Tom Sandoval, of course. Longtime friends have a little rift now. In his latest episode of, what's it called, Stars on Mars, a show where they pretend to live on Mars. It's basically a studio set with pajama-looking Star Trek outfits. Tom Schwartz says he's stepping away from Tom Sandoval permanently after an incredibly messed up affair. This is one of the worst clickbait titles I've ever seen, and that's not exactly what he said, but we're going to listen to him anyway. And also, we've got a new episode tonight. Can you believe that? Do me a favor, follow me on Instagram at DNeals. If you haven't already and enjoy my Vanderpump content, the only way for me to keep making this is if the algorithm picks it up. So make sure to like this video an odd number of times. One works perfectly fine. All right. So here, did Tom Schwartz say he's stepping away from Tom Sandoval permanently? I don't think so. I think they just took random quotes and pasted them together like it's, some sort of, ransom note here. But here's what he did have to say. I'm going to play this. I might have to pause it a few times because it's, copywritten content. So we have to just kind of like not play it all.
This thing with my friend back home, it's just, it's incredibly messed up. And
by the way, how soon after did they record this? This feels like this was recorded recently, but it's not live, obviously.
It seems each time I try to weigh in or talk about it, ramble on about it, drivel on, I inevitably sound like I'm somehow like justifying it or making excuses for it.
And of course, look, I've said this time and time again. I prefer people to talk about it and explain. An explanation is not an excuse. He tried his best to maintain his friendship. And people say, well, Tom Schwartz is just a bad guy with all these other ways he's dealt with things. Look, as someone who hasn't watched this show forever and just looking at it objectively, it's a tough position to be in to have your friend cheating, want to tell them to do the right thing, but at what point do you force them? Now, clearly, the truth came out before Tom Schwartz took any sort of moral high ground here, so we'll never know.
And I'm not, because, there's just no excuse for it. Any sort of version of, like, his side of the story is become obsolete because of the way he handled it.
And that's what's interesting. Right there. He says it's obsolete based on the way he handled it. He handled it so poorly, whatever version he had doesn't matter anymore.
And ultimately, that's his life. That is his life. I did not have an affair. I am not him. And it's just so strange that I've been absolutely mired in this.
Yeah. It's called collateral damage. People are so upset with Tom Sandoval that anybody who sides with him whatsoever, like a Howie Mandel, will face the wrath from people to say, oh, you're complicit in this, or you're an apologist to somebody, which I don't think is a smart way to deal with it. I think Sandoval can, dig his own grave here. But again, Schwartz, he's distancing himself. So much so that he did a TV show on Mars.
And it just, it's taken on almost a life of its own. And, after this, I'm stepping away from it permanently.
And people say stepping away from it permanently, and then the quote, I'm done with it permanently. Like that we literally just can't get it right. So he said he's stepping away from this, and that being the mess that is around the Sandoval issue. Does that mean he's going to step away from his friend Tom Sandoval? No, I don't believe so. Here's what he had to say on the podcast When Reality Hits with Jackson Brittany.
To make things clear really fast, Tom, because you said that he did tell you he had a one-night stand. So did he tell you about the one-night stand before Sheena's wedding, and then told you more?
It was after the wedding, and then we had like this moment where we sat down, and he's like, "Dude, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm losing. I feel like me and Ariana are inevitably going to break up. Maybe I'm naive for saying this, and people are probably going to gag, but from my point of view." With all the shit going on in my life, the little bandwidth I had to assign to his life, it seemed like things kind of went back to normal for a while. It didn't feel weird around them, and like, yeah, we all hung out, but
he's saying, look, I was going through a divorce. I didn't have much time to pay attention to Ariana and Sandoval, or Ariana, Sandoval, and Raquel. Like, the guy's got his own issues.
They were good. They always had people around them as buffers. In hindsight, like I feel like I kind of got used a little bit. I really do feel like I got
used. He feels like he got used.
I was just trying to tap into that. I fully on believe that, because I feel like, and I'm not just saying this because I'm your friend, but I do feel like Tom Sandoval does take advantage of you, of your kindness.
Whoa.
And you are. He 100% does. You can tell me that I'm lying, but I 100% believe, and I'm never wrong. You know that. I'm never wrong. I honestly think he takes a little bit of advantage of your kindness, with not only just that, I think with the bar, with the scheduling, with him going on tour, and you guys are in the middle of opening a bar, and
so as we saw before the Sandoval broke, the bigger issue was that Tom Schwartz is trying to get the bar going, and Tom Sandoval is more worried about getting his white nail polish done. I mean, it really you can see that their priorities aren't lined, and when you're trying to collaborate with somebody else, it's like having a student project. Remember high school, you got to do some student project. There's 3 people, 2 people don't want to do anything, and 1 person has to do it all. That's how Tom Schwartz felt when it came to launching their restaurant. And now that Tom Schwartz is dealing with the Tom Sandoval fallout, he's collateral damage as far as an investor goes within that restaurant.
A lot of things, not just this in general, but I'm talking about this goes back 12 years with a lot of different things. I think he kind of takes your kindness, and kind of uses it a little bit. I mean, do you agree or you disagree?
I do. In this case in particular, I really feel like he exploited me, because I do love Tom, and I took to heart everything he told me about like Ariana. Now that I've heard her side of the story, I'm just she is like vehemently denied all of this stuff. Like, he insinuated that there's certain things I don't want to say anymore.
No, I don't want to say what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, say what you're comfortable with, but I definitely think that he is saying a whole different side of what she was saying.
All right, so he's not going to tell you here, but Tom Schwartz was basically saying, allegedly, that Sandoval was saying, if I break up with Ariana, she's going to, do X, Y, and Z to herself, self-harm and things like that, which is terrible to stay with somebody because of a fear of that. But it's also terrible to use that as an excuse for all the other issues that happened. If Tom Sandoval is telling the truth here, then just terrible timing. I mean, look, you gotta not cheat, and then you're on the right side of it. But he's on the wrong side of this issue, and of course, because of that, all of the chips are not falling in his favor. Raquel turns on Tom Sandoval.
Sandoval revealing the hookup he wanted to keep secret.
I was glad she finally told the truth.
Did you guys have sex multiple times in Mexico?
Yeah.
So it was like a regular ongoing thing between you two, it sounds like, as of Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's weird because we've seen her go from, like, she's a lost soul to full breakdown, like I've been trying to protect Tom.
All right, so then Lala Kent, after seeing Raquel's confessions, kind of feels for Raquel here, saying, she, while also a bad person in this, did cheat. I mean, she didn't have any relationships going on, but of course she manipulated her friend, close friend, and had sex in Ariana and Tom Sandoval's house while Ariana was home for a funeral. I mean, real horrifying things. With all of that said, it looks like Raquel turning on Tom Sandoval says, look, he told me they weren't even into each other. He told me they weren't having sex. He told me if he's tried to break up with her and he can and he's going to, and all these different things. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. We got more content coming your way. If you want to check out my afternoon podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour, it's every afternoon, baby. I got all of your entertainment news in one place, whether you like The Bachelor or whether you like Vanderpump or just random gossip or my irreverent takes on things. You can go check that out, bachelorrushhour.com, or just search Bachelor Rush Hour wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, we'll be back right after this.